Hey, and welcome to the Circle City. My name is Evan Deal, and this is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm going to take you around to all the best neighborhoods and communities in Indianapolis, as well as a lot of the interesting cultural places that make this such a great place to live. So be sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell so that you're notified every time there's a new video coming out. There's so many areas to explore in Indianapolis, and I can't wait to show you all of them. Hey there, my fellow Hoosiers. Today we are going to bring you a closer look at Carmel, Indiana, the crown on top of Indianapolis, one of the most affluent and beautiful communities you will find anywhere in our beautiful Hoosier state. Carmel's an extremely well-developed area that sits just off of the top of 465 up 31, right above the city, and one of the most desirable neighborhoods and suburbs to live in Indianapolis. So let's dive in and take a look. So first off, the schools in Carmel are like the gold standard in the state. We're talking Carmel High School, where they've got more students than most small towns have people. I come from a town of, about 8,000 people in Brazil, Indiana. Shout out. But Carmel High School has like over 5,000 kids in it. So it's a tremendous school, tremendous resources across the board. But it is very big, often considered one of the best, if not the best school in Indiana. They live their best life. They've got a planetarium. They've got clubs for everything, AP classes, anything you can name it. If you want to be like anything in life, that school is a really great place to start your learning. But wait, there's more. K through 8, you're looking at 15 different schools in the Carmel Clay system, and they're pretty much all spectacular. They're among the highest rated schools in the state. If you're looking for private education, K through 8, you've got the Orchard School, and then even beyond that, you have University High School, which is one of the most acclaimed private schools in all of Indiana. So there is no lack of education here. Carmel's raising future leaders. It's a great place to train your kids up. Talk cash. Because Carmel's got a high median income. You'll think you'll accidentally moved into like a millionaire's neighborhood, and honestly, if you move to Carmel, the chances are pretty high of that because you're probably a millionaire yourself or close to it. Double the national average, and there's really not much in terms of unemployment rates. Really, most people in Carmel are employed. They're very high and much higher than the national average and the state average. And we're not just talking like any job. Usually these are higher end jobs, like the kind of job where you're like, oh yeah, I can buy my dream house, no big deal. Corporate headquarters throughout Indianapolis, as well as on the north side. Think like Deloitte, Eli Lilly. A lot of people work at Roche Diagnostics, which is just down the street in Indianapolis. Really, it's a great place to climb the corporate ladder. It's a great place to start a business as well. There are business parks throughout Carmel and neighboring Fishers, and there's quite a bit as well in Castleton as well, just to the south. So the north side of Indy is popping with employment opportunities, not just in downtown. In fact, a lot of the businesses downtown have started pushing out towards the suburbs over the year as they're sourcing talent, and a lot of that talent wants to live a little bit more on the outskirts, whereas some of them more lived downtown in the past. So there's a tremendous economic opportunity in the Carmel area and in broader Hamilton County. Another great thing about living in Carmel is the safety. So a lot of the times people will ask when they're looking at areas, is it safe? What's the crime rate? The crime rate in Carmel is much lower than the national average and much lower than the state average. It's a very well policed and protected area. You will not be calling Batman off the Monon Trail. All right, let's talk about what Carmel is probably best known for. And it's really funny because Indianapolis is like the Circle City, right? So we have Monument Circle downtown. It's like a circle like this. And that circle is then encompassed by a bigger circle. Like we've got rings like Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And that circle is 465, which is the interstate that surrounds the entire city like a giant donut. And then in Carmel, they really take this circle to the extreme in what I consider something pretty amazing. Some drivers have trouble with it, but really once you get used to it, it's fantastic. Roundabouts everywhere. Carmel is the national leader in roundabouts, like not just the Indiana leader. There are roundabouts everywhere. You cannot find a four-way stop in Carmel. It's pretty tremendous. So not only with uh, getting around in Carmel, it's very easy. Like 31 tees up, kind of like it's its own interstate where it's cut off with little exits throughout to make getting around Carmel very easy. But there's so much to do with the infrastructure too. You have the Monon Trail, you have Coxhall Gardens, you have over 700 acres of parks. I mean, it's crazy. There's stuff to do everywhere, both green space as well as developed entertainment. The culture scene is great. So let's talk fun things to do. Do you like to shop? If you're watching this video about Carmel, I'm guessing you like to shop in some capacity. It's okay. You can admit it. It's fine. Carmel's an amazing place. Clay Terrace is a great mall. It's full of all sorts of shops, including very high-end luxury stuff. They've got furniture. They've got clothes. Whatever you want, it's there. Luxury car dealerships in Carmel, you name it. Also, you've got the Arts District, which is full of wonderful every type of art. You got music. There's music at the Palladium. There's local art scene as well in the Arts District. There's theater. There's a performing arts center. It's a really tremendous cultural place within the city and very well developed. It's very clean to drive and walk around as well. In addition to that, you've got outdoor activities. You can walk or bike on the Monon Trail. You can go through downtown Carmel. It's just a pretty incredible place to be. It's very vibrant and lively. People love going to downtown Carmel, and there's a real sense of community and a distinct culture apart from the larger Indianapolis, which you don't always get in some of the other suburbs. So it's a very happening place, and it's great. All right, real talk. This place is like clearly an awesome place to live, but like, what's the downside of living here? So the big thing is that it's really expensive. You need a lot of money to live in Carmel. It's one of the most expensive places to live in Indiana. So the average home price is over 440,000. And honestly, if you're not ready to play ball at that level, you might be on the outside looking in. There are some houses that are below that. Like I said, it's an average, but just in general, it's a lot more expensive to live in Carmel than it is even right next door in Fishers or just to the south in Indianapolis on the northern parts of Indianapolis. So the vibe there is it kind of reflects that, right? So it is a more expensive elite type of community. Here, I'll just give you an example. So you know the show Parks and Recreation? Well, Eagleton in that show, which it's set in Indiana, right? Eagleton in that show is kind of based on Carmel. And Carmel's vibe really isn't the same as Eagleton, but it does have that sort of higher end, like professional, sort of. I know I'm overusing the word elite, but like really like almost luxurious vibe throughout the whole city, where like you're gonna kind of have an expensive HOA if you live there, but you might also live on a golf course. It's a nice place to live, but it is really expensive. So another potential con is while the schools are really great in Carmel and considered among the highest in the state, they are really big. So if you're more of a small school person, small class, one-on-one type, there are options for that. And there are certainly private schools as well in Carmel. But just know that some of the Carmel schools are really big. So you can keep that in mind when you're planning out where you're looking to live. Now, this next one, it's not really unique to Carmel. And honestly, it's not fair to Carmel. But construction can be kind of rough up there. It's really rough everywhere in and around Indianapolis, as anyone who lives here can tell you. We have very cold winters that turn into hot summers, and during that winter time, we get freeze and unfreeze and freeze and unfreeze, and it just cracks all of the asphalt. So there's constant construction, which can lead to some traffic backups, and it's really not unique to Carmel, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. That it does have some impact, especially on the interstate areas around Carmel. There are some cons to living in Carmel, but honestly, it really is a great place to live. There's very little downside to living there and huge positives. It's just generally speaking a very nice, clean community that has a great culture, great options. You can get down to the city if you want to go downtown. For something. It's a little bit of a longer drive than some of the other suburbs because it's right on top of the city. But honestly, it's not bad. And you don't even have to drive downtown because they have so much there. They have performing arts center. They've got just the whole cultural district in Carmel. There's so much entertainment. You've got like an awesome water park for kids there, and you've got really anything you can think of in terms of shopping or living or convenience. And you can get around easily because you're never going to have to stop at a four-way stop because of all the roundabouts. So it really is pretty tremendous. So there you have it, folks. That is Carmel, Indiana, with all of its quirks. It's a really tremendous place to live. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's consistently voted as one of the best places to live in the entire country. That's not just in Indiana, that's across the United States, from sea to shining sea. And it has a really unique vibe to it. There's no other place like it in Indiana. It really does stand alone. It's considered in a lot of ways to be one of the pinnacles of Indiana in terms of its culture scene, in terms of its housing. It's really just a tremendously cool place to live, and can't recommend it highly enough. So that's going to be all for this video today. We can't wait to see you in the next one. We explore everywhere in Indianapolis, and we love to take you through this great city that we call home. So hopefully that gives you a flavor for Carmel, Indiana. It is the crown jewel of Indianapolis because it sits right on top in the middle of the circle, and it's really nice. So hopefully that was helpful in giving you an overview of the area. And be on the lookout for more Carmel videos, walkthroughs, home tours, and really just exploring all over Indianapolis. Stay tuned to Living in Indianapolis. I'm Evan Deal.